Bonjour, mes amis, to the 23rd installment of the Unfinished Business Podcast, baby, with the ever so tan Money Malcolm Govius. How are you, sir?
Yeah, love it. Love being tan. Love.
And the Flowski on the top.
Yeah, it's disgusting right now. Jeez, I need a
Like
haircut
a
bad.
real life Slumdog Millionaire.
That's
Darker
kind
looking right now. I love it.
of. I know. I'm out in the sun
Unreal.
24/7.
But, today had to build a, what you call it? TV stand? TV stand.
Oh,
So I'm thinking about dropping out now because I'm just going into the trades. I'm just so good at it.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
the Mike Holmes of Southern Ontario now because Mike Holmes is retired. So it's not. How are you
It's just like building Lego, but just in real life. Whatever. Not a big
with
deal.
screws,
Oh wow,
still tools
screws.
that aren't my
Wow.
hands, buddy? The instructions don't help you at all. Like
Barely.
they do and they
Sometimes.
don't.
Yeah. Like
It's
when I
just
built my basketball net, it was so complicated. Like what they were trying to tell you to do.
no, but like the best like the experiences you get with like building with your family is that like your dads just swear the fuck out of everything. Shit.
Yeah.
If that's like you're lying to yourself, if that's not happens, that's never happened. Like obviously, like you want to be away from the parents, or if you're building something, and if you know like something's going down, shit, yeah. Bit about myself. How are ya? So, anyone needs a TV stand? Hit me
Yes,
up.
Jay. I actually do need one, so maybe you have to build one
Yeah,
for my home.
quick 5 hour trip down.
I'm not kidding. No, 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 not here. For when I'm in St. Kitts, I'm gonna need one. So just if you want to build one for me, that'd be nice. But to get into the episode, I want to start off the episode. Well, we want to start off the episode by announcing our first ever giveaway. So what we're gonna give away is the newest edition NBA 2K21 on Xbox or PlayStation.
How are ya?
How are ya? It's going to be the Damian Lillard cover. We want to give this away for when we reach 100 subscribers on YouTube. So that means you have to, in order to enter the draw, you have to subscribe, follow our Instagram, and then just DM us proof of you following on
On the
Insta.
Unfinished Business IG page.
Yeah, just DM us proof of both doing that when we reach 100 subscribers. We'll have all the names. We'll pick out a hat on that episode when we reach it, and we'll show you it. And that winner we'll ship it to them right away. I know you can only pre-order right now, but we're gonna order it, get it shipped to whoever wins. We want to start off by supporting everyone who's been
And if
supporting us.
yep, if
So
everybody subscribes real quick, it'll come to you pretty quick.
yeah, pretty quickly, that's for sure. So that's how you're gonna enter. We'll still post. I'll make a post right after this video. Post on Instagram just to come check out a vid to see how you can watch it if you didn't make it through the first minute and a half of this video. So just in case. But
Oh,
yeah, Jay, you want to take it away with NFL?
yeah, NFL still in the spotlight again this week for the recap. It's big man, Super Bowl quarterback, league MVP, Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes getting some serious cash money with a 10-year deal worth 477 million schmackaroons, which will be now the richest contract in sports
Isn't
history
it?
when it's signed.
Isn't it? I think it's changed to
Well, if you let me, if
507.
if you get if we just keep reading, we'll get to that. Just be patient. The richest contract in history was Mike Trout with the LA Angels of Anaheim at 426.5 million. So Pat Mahomes has 2 years remaining on his rookie deal, worth $27.6 million. And now that contract is broken down for the last 2 years. Is
Yeah,
that he's going to get 2.8 million this upcoming season and 24.8 in 2021. A bit of a wage
big
gap there, but
big jump, big jump.
whatever. The 10-year contract will therefore kick in at the start of the 2022 NFL season. So my question, that seems to be the funny concern right now, is that do you think the Chiefs win more Super Bowls with the 2 years remaining on the rookie deal that Mahomes has, or the 10 years of his new contract?
I think in the 2 years on his rookie deal, because they're so hot right now, and they're going to continue to stay hot as long because they have players on that team. I forget who said a wide receiver, was it Watkins? I
Yeah,
think he said, "Oh, I'll take a cut. I'll take a cut if we want to win
which is
more
he's due for a new
championships."
contract as well, Senior
Ex-
Watkins.
exactly. So he's willing to take a pay cut. I'm sure probably other players on the team will be willing to take pay cuts if they know they can win. So But I know obviously not all of them are going to. There's going to be players who want money and they deserve that money for their performance because it's not just the Patty Mahomes show. There's a lot of other key pieces on that team. But yeah, I think they'll win more in the remaining 2 years than in his 10-year deal.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because how good their O-line is right now, and I don't think it's
Mm.
going to be able to hold up in the next when the 10 years comes on. Like off the top of my head, you have the number one overall pick, Eric Fisher, who's your left tackle right now, who's going to be
Yeah,
obviously doing a new contract in 10 years, like everyone else. Mitchell Schwartz is on that O-line. Cam Irving's on the O-line. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, Canadian boy from the
Canadian
University
lad.
of McGill.
Yeah,
Big ups to him. But it's a great O-line. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
yeah.
Um, I don't think they're going to be able to. They're going to have to make some sacrifices at that O-line, obviously, to keep Mahomes with how much money he's going to be making. Like
Ridiculous.
you saw it last year, not so much this year. It's kind of been okay, but the defense suffered mightily with how good their offense was and how much money they put towards the offense. That the
Yeah.
defense struggled a lot. So I think it's going to be a struggle to keep a pretty competitive defense, or just
Best
Pat Mahomes
defense
just
is
takes over and
offense.
outscores everybody.
Exactly.
But
Best
like
defense
you
is
have
offense.
also on that offense, you have one of the best tight ends of football, if not the best, Travis Kelce. Tyreek
Yeah.
Hill is the fast, if not the fastest wide receiver in the league. Sammy Watkins, like you already mentioned. Mecole Hardman, who's going to be a great,
Yeah.
hopefully doesn't have a
He's really
sophomore
good.
slump this year, which is still on a rookie contract. You just
Yeah.
drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU. So
Yeah.
it looks
It's
pretty good
good.
right
Good
for
offense.
the immediate future. You got a pretty sweet team for the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs win the AFC Championship, Pat Mahomes will receive a $1.25 million bonus, and as well, if he wins the league MVP, will receive another $1.25 million bonus. So with it adds up to $25 million in incentives over the 10-year span. So like you said, that contract from 477 could very well be $503 million.
And I see him like getting some of those
Yeah, but
incentives.
not every
Like
year.
not every year, but he'll win a few MVPs. I think within that 10-year contract, like maybe one or two. So he'll get some
Yeah,
incentives. But
these were some great stats. I love this. Like the 1 year, obviously, he's gonna make 50.3 million. In one day, he's gonna earn $137,808. In an hour, he's gonna make $5,742. In a minute, he's gonna make $96. And in a second, it's gonna be $1.60.
that's
So
ridiculous.
he could buy NBA 2K21 for us in a 60 seconds.
Yep, if you wanted to,
How are
come
you?
on over here.
Exactly. So who do you think is going to be the next quarterback due to get that big money extension?
Well, they're talking about Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he's not going to get that. No, he's not going to get that big number and surpass Patty Mahomes. But they're all saying, well, he's going to reach like another number. He's going to reach a number that's worth almost like Patty Mahomes because of how talented he is, and he's won the MVP already at such a young age. I think he would be the next one to get that big extension. That's like I'm trying to think of other like young quarterbacks. And are we just talking quarterbacks or yeah,
No
quarterbacks?
quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'll
think
take
it'd
it
have
off
to
the
be
here.
Lamar.
I just think Lamar Jackson hasn't won a playoff game yet,
Yeah, I know.
so I think it's pretty tough to give him a lot of money and give him the reins to the city. And if you can't get out of
The first
divisional and or
round.
wild card, so I
Yeah.
think the next guy up, I think that's due for one is Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to prove it this year without D Hop as your primary receiver catching everything. It's just like magnetic hands. But you got Brandon Cooks this season. You have Kenny still. Will Fuller is on that team as well. But Deshaun Watson carries that. I think carries that offense, and he's again dual threat. You got the run and you got the arm, and he's got the will to win. So I think he's due to get a big money contract. Not like Pat Mahomes, obviously, but he's going to get up to
Yeah.
the hundreds of millions of dollars for sure. So if Mahomes does not play a game with his new contract due to injury reasons, he's going to receive $140 million.
That's crazy, man.
And he does have its no trade clause and opt-outs through the 10 years, so he can cancel his contract whenever he wants to. So how many Super Bowls do you think the Chiefs need to win to kind of gratify this absurd amount of money and how long this contract is for Mahomes?
So how many within the 10-year contract?
Yeah.
I'd say three. I'd say three or four because
3 or 4.
I don't think they're gonna have like even with Tom Brady, he didn't win all his rings within a 10-year span.
He also didn't
He's
get paid this much money.
I know. I'm saying, but I don't think they're going to be a dynasty team. We're long past the era where there are dynasty teams, in my opinion.
Well, there really weren't any in football. Like, I
I
guess
know there.
the steel curtain of the Steelers is probably the last one.
Yeah, I know.
And that was
So
the '70s.
I'm saying like there's not. I don't think that they're gonna win like 7 Super Bowls within his 10 years. I think though they have a chance of winning 3 or 4, and that's the number they have to reach to say, hey, like we paid this guy enough money. Obviously, in those other years, they're gonna have to be Super Bowl contenders like for all
Absolutely.
those years. They
If
can't
not
just
like
be
division winners for sure.
exactly. They can't. They have to make it out of the
The
divisional
playoffs
round.
are bust.
Yeah, basically.
I think two is good
You think two?
too. Like, I think it's so hard to get to the Super Bowl. Like, you have so many other good teams that I know it's like the quarterback is like a position like within like any other. Like, they come out like everyone counts on the quarterback so much in this sport rather than like
Yeah,
a center in hockey or a center in basketball, just spitballing. But
that's
I
true.
think
I get what you mean.
Tom Brady didn't make 7 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you think like Pat Mahomes is going to do that in today's NFL? I don't think so.
Not in
Like,
today's
obviously,
NFL.
like LeBron, like that's why I think LeBron's record for how much finals appearances he made is going
Crazy.
to be untouchable.
I think so too. I totally think he's
Uh,
good.
the Washington Bleeps is what we're going to call them for now. Is reportedly planning to have no Native American imagery with the coming of a potentially new team name. FedEx again is ramping up their pitch to get Washington with the new team name. They're saying that they're not going to display FedEx for FedEx Field if they stay with the name Redskins. So I think it's just more pressure for Dan Snyder and Washington to clean up their act and make a positive name that doesn't offend anybody, or the logo. So big fan of this guy. 49ers running back Raheem Mostert has requested a trade. Had a team high 772 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns last season. And I think everyone remembers him for the 220 yards and 4 touchdowns in the NFC title game against the Pack last season.
Yeah.
It was kind of pretty unreal. Like, saved Jimmy G. I don't know, how many balls did Jimmy G throw that game? 8?
Yeah, it was 8. It was something around there. It was not double digits, I don't think.
Saved his ass, that's for sure. The
Yeah.
28-year-old Mostert is entering the second year of a 3-year, $8.7 million contract. On the roster right now, the Niners have Tevin Coleman, who Atlanta Falcons fans know him pretty well,
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson Jr., and Jerick McKinnon for running backs. Jerick McKinnon, former Minnesota Vikings running back. They did trade Matt Breida to the Dolphins for a 5th-round pick. So where do you think Raheem Mostert might land? Because you're a big fan of him.
Well, first, I think that the 49ers will be good with Tevin Coleman because I know Tevin Coleman too because I'm not a Falcons fan, but the past like few seasons I've always had him on my fantasy team just as a flex, and I know how good he is, and he's a good player. And when Freeman was injured, he came and kind of stepped up. So I think the 49ers will be good by letting go of Mostert. Mostert's had a rocky road, getting cut by several NFL teams, and then finally landing on the 49ers. I thought he would stay with them. I'm trying to think of a team that really needs a running back right now, but I don't think I know Mostert like had that great season, but he will still have that like one season and then he's done, right? One and done.
Mm.
So we don't really know. No one really wants to like gamble. I don't think there's a lot of teams that want to gamble on a running back right now. I'd say, whew, I'd say honestly, I think the Cincinnati Bengals because
Eh,
who they have Joe
Joe
Mixon,
Mixon,
right?
man.
I know they have Joe Mixon, but you have Raheem Mostert. They're splitting snaps with Joe Mixon. You have Joe Burrow there, so you have like if he's the quarterback, obviously he's going to be starting. You can bail him out some games if Mostert performs to what he performed like last year. So I think he can help out with Mixon. So I think the Bengals would be a good fit for him.
I got 2 teams. I like in division, the LA Rams. Kind of piqued
Wow,
my interest. Lost
since
Todd Gurley this season,
Gurley's gone,
obviously,
yeah,
this offseason. So, and you kind of have not like it's not the same offense like you see like Jimmy G is known for not throwing the ball, excuse me, and Jared Goff's kind of a gunslinger if you ask me. So
yeah.
the fit doesn't really work there. But I also see the New York Jets as well as a landing spot. Take the load off Le'Veon because you kind of saw that
Le'Veon.
last year. He kind of sucked, and he had he
Should have
was the
stayed with
primary guy.
Pittsburgh.
So I think I think most would have to sacrifice something, but I don't think he's looking to start anywhere. I know he had one big game, but I think he's got to prove it. And I think they need a lot of pressure off Sam Darnold this season.
Yeah,
Disney announces a deal with Colin Kaepernick, so ESPN Films will produce an exclusive docu-series on Kaepernick's life as part of the deal. So does this signify the end of Colin Kaepernick's football playing career?
no. I think he still has a chance of making it back into the NFL, just because he's doing this stuff. Like he's been doing like media stuff ever since he's been kicked out of the league. At the same time, he's been training and he wants to get back in. I don't think there's anything more than he wants to get back into football and still promote Black Lives Matter and promote what's going on. So I don't think it's the end of his playing career. I still think it's a shot. A lot of teams should be giving him more of a chance than they are. Um, it's just a matter, in my opinion, it's just a matter of time. What do you think?
Yeah, I like this. I think it's the same answer as you. I don't know if it's a great. Obviously, everyone wants to see his side of the story because no one has really heard his side of the story from a third-party perspective. Obviously, you hear from Kaepernick himself, but if you have a whole production crew that's committed to this movement, I think it's gonna be very interesting to see for sure.
Yeah.
The NFLPA has voted unanimously to skip this preseason. Right now, as it stands, it's going to be 2 games instead of 4. So, and as well, I think it's going to be tough strategically wise because how you're going to cut players. Because usually they like to work it out at the second game. They cut almost half the roster. So I think it's going to be very curious to see how that works. It's supposed to be the start of mini camps right now, and obviously that's not happening. So the
That's not
rookies
gonna
are
happen.
suffering for sure. I think it's gonna be so tough this year for rookies, not knowing like you're not gonna be with your team, you're gonna be at the team facility at all, and probably until the season starts. So you're not
Yeah.
gonna know like your guys. You're not gonna know like your coach on that great of a level. You're not gonna know your position coach very well. You're not gonna know the facility. You're not gonna. It's gonna be really weird. I think it's gonna be a
Yeah.
very very tough year for the rookies. The NFL has proposed 35% of players' salaries to be held in escrow during the season. I just want to ask you because I didn't know what this was. Did you know what escrow meant before?
No.
Okay, perfect. So
No, no.
we took the liberty to looking it up. So escrow really mean that it's basically a fancy word for deferred salaries. So
Okay, yeah.
they're gonna keep like 30% of the players' salaries will get put into escrow, and then at a later date they'll get back to 35%. But it's just a fancy word for deferred salaries. The NFL will be banning jersey swaps this season, and the reasoning behind this was they want players to stay 6 feet apart after games.
I think Richard Sherman said it best, where he came out and said, "So the NFL wants us to stay 6 feet apart after games, but will allow us to tackle each other during the games
It makes no
and
sense.
sweat all over each other and just touch each other the whole game." Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
You like the
But
touching part, eh? You dirty dog.
no, but I don't know. Oh my god, man. No, but I don't know, man. Like I don't think the NFL is using their brains. I don't think anyone like who's like high up in the NFL right now, they're all just focused about making that money because they don't want to lose all the money because they're going to be losing a lot of money. I know like one team said if we're allowed to have fans, it'll be like 14,000 maximum.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. They're more concerned about making money, and this is the way of saying, "Oh, we're all for player safety." You're really not, but
Yeah,
it
like
is what it is.
it doesn't make any sense to me how you could say I'm gonna go out and play 60 minutes and tackle somebody and not be able to sign a jersey and give it to you.
Yeah, it doesn't
Plus,
make any sense.
they're all gonna be tested anyway, so
Yeah,
they know they're gonna be testing negative. I don't know if they want to. I don't know. They should do it. I think they'll probably see that change the next couple of weeks. You never know. But we're gonna take it now to the association. What you got for us there, Malcolm?
in the NBA, I got excited for this news. Jamal Crawford is going to sign with the Nets. Obviously, the Nets losing like 5 or 6 players because of opting out because of COVID reasons or Black Lives Matter reasons. So Jamal Crawford, it's been a year since Crawford has been in the league, and then I remember this last game he dropped 51 points in last year's regular season finale with the Phoenix Suns, and he's a 3-time Six Man of the Year award winner. A lot of people saying he's probably arguably the best six man of all time, like
Absolutely,
other
I would be
NBA
that
saying
person.
that. Yeah, so to have him on the Nets, I think that's a huge pickup, and also they're going to be adding Michael Beasley to the squad. So he played 26 games last season with the Lakers. The Lakers, obviously, with a bunch of talent on that team. They'll essentially replace Torian Prince positionally because Torian has tested positive for COVID-19, and he has to serve a 5-game suspension if he does not return due to a violation of the league's anti-drug policy. So the Nets picking up 2 players there who aren't bad players. Like, if you're an NBA fan, you know both of these guys, Michael Beasley and Jamal Crawford,
Absolutely. Like
obviously.
Jamal Crawford's like the legend himself. He's Jay Crossover.
Exactly. So you're picking up, you're getting those handles back from losing Kyrie, but I think it's good. It's a good move by the Nets. Obviously, Jamal Crawford's been itching to play in the league ever since last year, and no one's been giving him a chance. So now's the time. A lot of blessings in disguise for some people during everything that's happening. So him getting a shot to come back it's very nice to see. The San Antonio Spurs veteran guard Patty Mills will be donating the rest of his salary towards fighting racism in Australia. So that's a salary of over $1 million. It's pretty nice of him to do that. Patty Mills, obviously a great basketball player. I remember him playing against Team USA, scoring like 30 points on USA and winning it with like Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker on that. That was in the Olympics. That was something else. But yeah, seeing him doing that, that's very special as well. So a lot of positive news coming out of the NBA right now. This kind of shocked me. This was just recently today that LeBron James is not going to have a statement on his jersey. And what do you think about this move from LeBron?
I don't know. I think he probably wanted something that he wanted on it, and not something that someone told him to put on. Because
Yeah,
obviously they had to be approved by the NBA. I know Jaylen Brown has been vocal about that too, wanting to have something else on the back of his jersey.
yeah,
So I don't know if he's actually putting anything on the back of his jersey, Jaylen Brown, but I think LeBron's just too big of an athlete that he can get away with this kind of thing. Unlike if you saw like maybe a Alex Len try to do something like this, I don't know.
yeah.
But
I
LeBron's
think
been
yeah, with
a
it.
pretty big advocate for racism ever since he came into the league, I guess. So I think he gets a pass from me on it. Like it doesn't really matter to me because he's doing it
Yeah,
outside
he's
of the courts. So
one of the guys that you're in love with, so it's
not a big
whatever.
yeah. How are you?
Um, Enes Kanter of the Boston Celtics, my Boston Celtics, says that the Celtics can beat anyone in the league right now, and they're not worried about seeding, so they don't care because they're most likely going to end up in the playoff position anyways. But they don't care if they're eighth seed and drop the eighth seed, which is probably not going to happen. But he doesn't care where they land because he says they're so confident that they're going to be winning most of their games, and I can't disagree with him. I totally agree with him. The team's just built for success, and they could be the
Sorry,
underdog in the finals. Maybe, who knows? Coming up against
I'm
one of
taking the
the,
Bucks against the Celtics. Sorry, bud.
you can do that, but I'm not going. I'm so strong believer in the Celtics can take down anyone right now. Their team is loaded. They have probably arguably the best coach in the league right now. They can pull out Taco whenever they
Ask you a
need to.
question.
Yeah.
What university did Brad Stevens coach
What
before he
university
went to
was it?
Boston?
Where was it?
I'm asking
I
you
don't know.
because you're a big
I,
Brad
I
Stevens fan, right? Best coach in the league.
I'm just saying he is on my Celtics. Yeah, I didn't know what did he coach in. What did he coach in college?
He coached the University of Butler. Go
Well,
Bulldogs.
it would
When he
have been
took them to
even
the
worse if it
championship
was
game. And guess who else was on that Butler Bulldogs team
who
that
was on
made it
that
to the
team.
championship game? He
Who was
happens
on
to
that?
be on the Celtics now.
Pardon?
He happens to be on the Celtics now.
Who is it? Just tell me.
Number 20, Gordon Hayward.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I thought it was gonna be worse if it was Gonzaga because that's my team. So I was like different Bulldogs. Kind of got scared there.
I
But
think
yeah,
Gonzaga is actually different Bulldogs. Butler is the Bulldogs.
well, I don't know. Well, maybe you could you could say that. Moving on, we have J.R. Smith, some J.R. Smith. Obviously, he signed with the Lakers, right? So he went to the bubble, but he's getting in trouble now for exposing too much shit that's going on in the bubble. And
Awesome.
he was reading out the menu and like what we're gonna eat. He's like, "Oh, damn, that shit's so good!" Oh, and then he was saying, I think there's other players showing the rooms and like the player rooms or the player lounges. So I don't think, and I saw Serge Ibaka's TikToks. He was getting
His ring.
tested. No, he was him getting tested. So they're getting tested before they can even get into the bubble. They have to
Yeah,
put their
enjoy the
mouth,
last
both
TikTok, guys,
noses.
as I don't know how long it's going to be around anymore.
Yeah, well in the U.S. Yeah, so sad news for Jay. But JR
Very
is
sad
just getting
news.
a little bit disciplined, I guess. They're telling him, hey, keep it quiet, don't be exposing too much. Um, July 8th, this past July 8th, marked the 10-year anniversary of the decision from LeBron James. What? So since then, how do you think his game? How do you think his legacy changed when he got to Miami? Like
Perfect.
he obviously he was
I remember exactly where I was when
yeah
the decision happened. CNN, like you're never gonna see this again. Out in Muskoka, and I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach. So, like the lead up towards it, they obviously lost to Boston in the playoffs that year,
yeah
and took off the jersey, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be the last time LeBron puts on a Cavs jersey."
yo
Evidently, it
that
was. Evidently, it was. And then the Big Three was formed, and that's kind of like the modern day NBA super team that everyone tries to
yeah
aspire to be right now. Is thanks to LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. That's when the NBA Finals streak began. Lost to the Mavs their first game or the first time around. Great Mavs team, but kind of revenged like in 05, 04 that they lost to the Heat the first time around with D Wade and Shaq.
yeah
But obviously, they know the epic battles they had with the Spurs. Cry baby LeBron was born with the cramps and the hot barn in San Antonio.
yeah.
And then he was kind of the villain. Like the whole time in Miami, he was the villain. Like
If
kind
I'm
of like
being
KD.
honest, if I'm being honest, when I first like when he did switch over, I didn't like LeBron that much just because he switched over, and then
Well, it's like KD
oh
right now, eh?
exactly. Well, but Katie, I don't think I'm ever gonna like. I know how good he is. I know he's like a pure. He's probably the best scorer of his generation, like pure natural scorer. But LeBron, like over time, like okay, no, this guy's the goat. Like you guys see what he's done, see what he's doing for his community. Even too, he's doing a lot more. So over time, I started to like him way more. But at the beginning, I was like, this guy just like screwed over his team, his hometown. I was like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
But he really never left Cleveland because
Yeah,
he did charity work there when he was with Miami.
and he came back,
But
won a
then
chip.
yeah, I remember exactly where I was when he came back in Florida. I remember like, I love you, I'm back. Mic drop, unreal. And then everybody knows obviously the 2016 championship run, being the 7-3-9 Warriors. So
uh,
got to 30,000 points, passed Kobe obviously in overall points this year. Then 2018 went to the Lakers, and we were there. We watched the first game with LeBron with his new threads. So I
yeah.
think in the 10 years, I think from obviously he was like a very polished player to the GOAT.
Yeah, he's the goat. There's you can't change my mind on that. He's the goat. Finish it off for NBA, Philadelphia 76ers star center Joel Embiid doubts that all players, including guys on his own team, will follow the rules for the NBA bubble. It's kind of interesting that he's throwing shade at his own teammates and the rest of the league. What do you think of this?
Okay, like the start of the year, everyone talked about how like toxic the Philadelphia team was. Like it's just they don't gel. Like it just doesn't happen. Like this should be like a great marriage here, but it's like the funk. Like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons just clash heads. Like it doesn't work. Shouldn't be like. Could you imagine like the personalities on that team last year, not only this year? Like yeah, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Jimmy Butler. So those are some loudmouth, in your
Yeah,
face.
kind of makes sense why Jimmy left.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah,
But like, there's no camaraderie at all with that team, so it doesn't surprise me that Joel Embiid's doing this. Also, he showed up in a hazmat suit to the plane ride.
yeah, that was awesome. I
But
don't like Joel Embiid, but that was awesome.
doesn't I don't get it. But maybe they'll pull it. That's why that's what they'll go far. Like team chemistry
Is
plays a
it
role, if you like
very
it or not.
important? Yeah.
But speaking of team chemistry to me is the Devils, New Jersey Devils, have hired Lindy Ruff as their
Wow.
new head coach. Absolutely amazing
Legendary
hire.
coach.
Big fan of Lindy Ruff. Glad he's back in the head coaching game. He's going to be there for a while, I think. Better head coach with 1,500 games behind the bench. With obviously everyone knows him being with the Buffalo Sabres, and a little short stint with the Dallas Stars. Previously, I believe he worked as an assistant for the New York Rangers.
Yep.
But I think that's a great hire. You know, I think he does very well with the young players, like you saw in Buffalo. Not so like I think not so much in Dallas, but he was there for so long in Buffalo and great like tenured success, making the playoffs at the cup almost making the cup run, the cup final run at '99. Obviously, Brett Hall, you know
Foot
everyone
in the
knows how that went.
crease. Foot in the crease.
Okay, And he is sixth all-time in wins with 736. So
Not too
can't
shabby.
go wrong. Can't go wrong if you ask me. The NHL and the Players Association have ratified the new 4-year CBA extension, along with the return to play policy plan. We're obviously going to have more about this on Tuesday when we cover the NHL postseason preview, because we have dates now. We'll mention the dates until Tuesday, so stay tuned. This will now run through the 2025-2026 NHL season. The major points in the documents is that there's going to be a hard cap of $81.5 million until hockey-related revenue will exceed $4.8 billion, which was supposed to be the amount that they were going to make this year before it was postponed due to COVID-19. If they didn't do this, the salary cap could have been lowered by 15 to 20 million to the loss of revenue this season. So I think they obviously had to do this because, like I would say a third of the teams would just be screwed if you saw a cap at do the math, Brock math kind of tough, $60 million.
Yeah, very tough.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Pending an agreement from the International Olympic Committee, NHLers will participate in the 2002 and 2026 Winter Olympics. Celebrate for a bit, but you need to think this is going to be a pain in the ass to schedule around.
Yeah.
But just to put this in your head, not like this year coming up, this following season, you're going to start in December. This is what is going to happen, right? And you're not going to see the Cup final until late June and/or mid-July. So you're not going to start on time again next season, obviously. So I would say you're probably looking at a November-ish start to the season for 2021, 2022. And then you have to take 3 weeks off in February for the Olympics. So that 3 weeks was kind of like if you pushed the start of the season back 3 weeks in a regular times, you would get the start of the season in November. So you're back again to mid-July or late June, early July, a final again. So we're probably not going to see a regular season until the 2022-2023 season, because we're just all about positive vibes here on Unfinished Business.
Heard it here first. Called it.
Fuck. Escrow for players will be capped at 20% next season, and the total will go down to 6% by the end of the 6-year contract. So again, 20% of deferred salaries will go down to 6% of deferred salaries. But I think it's tougher in the NHL because they're not making $50 million like Patrick Mahomes. But I think it's safe to say that I would say most of the NHLers and obviously Patrick Mahomes will be making a lot more money than Cam Newton.
No doubt about it.
Players will defer 10% of their salary and signing bonuses next season, which will be paid back over 3 seasons starting at the 2023-2024 season, which could be the first season we see a regular schedule. Who knows? Players will not be involved in the 24-team playoff format, and players that opt out of the format will be eligible to sign contracts outside of North America, but will not be allowed to play next season. So, hey, me and you want to go down to the Cave, maybe play some German League, go on the Autobahn, go to the Red Light District?
Kind of down. No doubt about it. Kind of down.
Some key dates for the NHL return to play policy is that July 31st will be the beginning of the qualification round. August 9th is going to be the start of the Lord Stanley's Cup playoff. October 2nd will be the last possible day for the Stanley Cup finals. October 6th will be your draft. October 9th will be a start of free agency. So that week is going to be crazy.
That's going to be an insane week for hockey.
November 17th, you're going to see training camp start up again for next season. And like we said already, December 1st will be the beginning of next season. And as well, like you mentioned here, is that NHL is going to be planning for games per day in each hub city at 12, 4, and 8. So it's just going to be a steady fix for hockey.
I'll be loving it.
But what I did read is that Toronto and Edmonton, how they're going to schedule that around, they're going to be games at the 0-0s and there's going to be one of the 30s. So you're going to see when one game finishes, you can see the ending of another one. Perfect. It's perfect.
Not bad.
Panthers, Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Hockey Hall of Famer Christopher Pronger will be leaving the organization.
For some travel agency business.
Yeah, he's still getting paid by the Flyers, so why not?
Yeah.
Lightning forward Steven Stamkos will be dealing with a lower body injury. Will be missing training camp. But he says he will be ready to play come round robin time.
Let's hope so.
I doubt it because you know how injury prone Mr. Stamkos is, but at
Yeah.
least hopefully be ready. The first player has actually opted out for the NHL restart, and that is Flames defenseman Travis Hamonic, as well as Vancouver Canucks forward Sven Baertschi has also opted out, but Hamonic has been opted out for family reasons, while Sven Baertschi has remained undisclosed. The Chicago
COVID.
Blackhawks say they will not change their name and or logo. The team released a statement saying, and I quote, "The Chicago Blackhawks name and logo symbolize an important and historic person, Blackhawk of Illinois, Sac and Fox Nation, whose leadership and life has inspired generations of Native Americans, veterans, and the public." So they are committed to expand awareness of contributions by Native Americans. You buying this?
No, I think they have to change one or the other. That's a first step. Like you gotta change that logo. You see the Cleveland Indians, they changed their logo. At least change the logo. If you're not going to change your name, you want to keep your name the Blackhawks and keep giving contributions. Don't use the logo of the Native American man, because you don't see a sports league that's the logo of a white guy and
Celtics.
call that's a fictional character. You know what I mean. You don't have a team
Yeah, yeah.
called the like New York
Fighting
Kevins, and
Irish.
you just have a picture of a white guy. The Fighting Irish. Okay, now you're coming at me hard with some examples, but I'm just saying I don't think you can compare the two right now, and I
Like
think
busting your balls.
they want to keep. Yeah, I know they want to keep the name. Sure, keep the name because they're obviously don't want to budge on this, but you gotta change the logo at least. That has to be the stepping stone, in my opinion.
Mm. But we're moving to the boys of summer now. What you got for us today?
The Major League Baseball. So some of news for your Blue Jays. They signed the number 5 pick, Austin Martin, with a bonus of over $7 million, which is the highest bonus in Blue Jays history. His agent being Scott Boras, the best, like the most notorious agent in all of sports. What do you think of them giving him this
So
highest bonus?
Scott Boras does not have a very good reputation with the Blue Jays, just because how much money his clients make. Then the Jays don't like giving that much money to those kind of guys. So Scott Boras usually he like to smack talk anybody who's trying to sign to the Jays, like, oh, don't go to this organization, blah. But since Mark Shapiro, president, took over the reins from Alex Anthopoulos, that seemed to wash down. Like they have their ace now, Hyunjin Ryu, who happens to be a Scott Boras client,
Mm-hmm.
and now Austin Martin getting the $7 million signing bonus, and he will be on the 50-man roster for the restart, or I guess you can't really call it the restart, the end of the season, I guess, the 60-game season. But the more intriguing thing to me for the Blue Jays is where they're going to be playing this season. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, they're having inter-squad games. It's going to be live on Sportsnet next week. It's going to be
Did you
big. I'm
see
very excited to
this?
see that.
Did you see today? They said any Blue Jays caught outside their hotel
Oh,
or
yeah.
facilities will be receiving fines and or jail time.
Yeah, the fine is $750,000.
Yeah,
And they also, TSN, Scott Mitchell wrote the news, this could last all summer.
yeah. So they can't go anywhere. It's a bubble.
And Travis Shaw, who happens to be a new signing for the Blue Jays, is like, fuck that. There's no way I'm doing it. But I think you're going to have to if you want to get paid.
Yeah,
So the two options they're exploring to play is either the AAA affiliate in Buffalo or the cesspool in Dunedin, Florida. So,
I don't think you want to go to Florida. So
but your Boston Red Sox have actually scheduled 2 exhibition games for the Blue Jays at Fenway Park. Fenway Park.
yeah, pack. Okay, Matt Damon.
Yeah. I love the Boston accent. If I can quote the illustrious podcaster of RA, Roy Admiral, if I could say, the Barstool Sports Family, Pink Whitney by New Amsterdam Vodka. I love it, man. I wish I had like one of those acts. Like
The Boston
my
accent's pretty
brother,
cool.
my brother. He's my brother. But that's my brother. Where's the water?
They have one of the best accents in my opinion
Absolutely.
too.
Throw it on like that.
Speaking of my Boston Red Sox, former Red Sox Mookie Betts says he doesn't regret rejecting that $300 million extension from the Red Sox. That's cap. cap that he doesn't regret that, because I think you turning down $300 million. I know he's with the Dodgers now. Obviously, I was sad to see him go. I thought he was going to be a Red Sox for
MVP, man.
life.
He's an MVP.
He should have stayed, in my opinion. Whatever. Now I hate
Okay,
him.
I have this great story. When Mookie Betts was not Mookie Betts like he is now,
Yeah.
there was these two guys behind us at Jay's game, hammered out of their minds. And we're right behind left field, so we're right behind Mookie Betts. And these guys are like, Mookie, you're a bum. It's just every time I see him, that's all we say. And he played for the Jays, Canadian kid, out for BC, Michael Saunders. Remember that name? I don't know. Played for the Mariners, played for the Jays a little bit.
He sounds familiar, yeah.
20 home run guy. And every time he step up to bat, all of us, do it for your country, Saunders.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's a good time with me, if you know. Yeah.
Good time with Jared. You want to go to Blue Jays games or Raptors games? Just tell him he'll invite you, and then you say no, and you'll just bring someone else. Not gonna name names.
But you know who you are. Nice
Baltimore
TikTok, by the way,
Orioles.
if you know who you are. That was funny.
That was hilarious. Sorry, that made me laugh. The Baltimore Orioles offered contract to 29-year-old Yasiel Puig, who also he came off like 29 home runs last year, and like 170 RBIs. So he's playing some good baseball.
I think that baffles my mind that he's 29 years old.
Yeah.
I thought he was way younger.
I thought, yeah, I know. I thought he was like pretty young, but he's 29 already. A lot of these guys, you see them they just grow up. But yeah, so do you think he'll sign with the Orioles? Where do you see him going?
Baltimore's so good, right?
I'm just saying.
So
where do you see him going?
Yeah, if he gets some cash, I mean, why not? Like, I don't know. He's been pretty crappy teams ever since he left LA, right? Cincinnati. I would obviously like to see him stay in Cincinnati because of the history in Cincinnati. And I think they're kind of building something really good in Cincinnati. To tell you the truth, I think they'll be a good team in the next 3, 4, 5 years. So I don't know. Baltimore, out of the Jays division, but I don't know if they'll be in Baltimore this year or not. So why not?
Yeah. And to end it off with baseball, veteran umpire Joe West will not opt out of the 2020 season, saying, "I don't believe all deaths were from the coronavirus." So is he saying that all the deaths reported from coronavirus were not all coronavirus?
Probably. Just like for like an indication of how when we say veteran umpire, he is a veteran umpire. Like he worked the 1992 World Series. Just to put it in perspective, you have to be really good at your job to first get the World Series.
Yeah.
Let alone from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like he was at the top of his job 30 years ago.
He's
still doing it. So
is this just some boomer mentality here?
Absolutely. That's no cap.
That's no cap.
Boomer mentality. But I think it's safe to say that actually this might be the first time on our podcast that someone does not make more money than Cam Newton. It might be Joe West.
It might be Joe West. I think
we'll get back to you on that one for Tuesday. We'll move back to another summer sports, golf. The GOAT of golf, Tiger Woods, will be returning to the sport at the Memorial Tournament next week at Muirfield Village Golf and Country Club in Dublin, Ohio, the home of the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus. So will you be tuning in like everybody else?
If Tiger's playing, I'll have to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Golfers are rigging the cash. PGA Tour updates their rules on COVID-19 to allow Nick Watney, Dylan Fratelli, and Denny McCarthy to play as a threesome in the Workday Charity Open this week. All three have tested positive for COVID-19 previously. So in order to be eligible to play in a PGA Tour tournament now, players must meet the following criteria. 1, at least 3 days have passed since recovery, which is defined as a resolution of fever without fever-reducing medications like your Tylenol and or Advil, and improvement in respiratory symptoms, so that's probably no cough. Number 2, at least 10 days have passed since symptoms first appeared. And third and final, the players must play with other players with the same situation. Is this safe for everybody else?
I don't think so. I think I think they have to take more precaution than everyone's just treading lightly and just doing the bare minimum, in my opinion. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Us talking about it's not gonna change anything.
Oh, maybe it
So
can. Reach us. Let's go.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna change anything.
Yeah, I think it puts everybody else at risk.
Yeah.
Unless these guys are the first players off. But like how like when you Saturday and Sunday, your tee times are obviously made based on your score. So you could have like these guys could be like one guy could be first place and the other be like 45th, but
Yeah.
they still have to play each other. But it doesn't make everyone should just be healthy and stay healthy and not get anybody hurt or whatever. Like just test negative and come back and play.
Exactly. Just go quarantine.
Exactly. But probably the best golfing experience if you've never been. I've never been, but if anyone's ever been, you should know this. But the Ryder Cup is the best fan experience ever. If you're ever going to see a golf venue, go see the Ryder Cup. If it ever comes close to here or wherever you're from, go watch it. It will be postponed until 2021 due to having no fans in attendance, which the players have been vouching for because it's just not the same without fans. And the President's Cup, which is supposed to be in 2021, will be pushed back to 2022.
Okay. So everything's getting a bit postponed here, but I think we all saw some of this stuff coming.
Well, speaking of postponed, what you got for the college sports fix?
Well, so the Ivy League has canceled all fall sports for this season. And I just want to point out, if you have the Ivy League, the top of the top, probably smartest kids, smartest schools, coming out to say, hey, we're going to cancel sports because it's not safe. I think the other one should just go along and follow what they're saying.
Okay, just before you go any further, I just think Ivy League was obviously first because they don't rely on sports
Yeah,
for your
for their
money. Like
money, they
you
get
got the
tuition.
brainiacs that are
Yeah,
coming to those schools, so like the Power Five are obviously really reliant on your
your
sport
brainiacs.
revenue, especially college football. And honestly, even if they have college football, I don't think there'll be any fans. But
Yeah,
there might be, like, who knows. But that's where the money is. Like, it's your ticket sales because you have these, like, 80, 90, 100,000 feet, 100,000 feet, 100,000 seat stadiums that are full every week. And
yeah.
that's where that's where
And
the money
that's not
is.
even just students. That's just alumni and just fans within the area, and just fans of the teams just going to watch because college football is
Is
the well, it's arguably better than NFL football like to watch. It's
well,
way more
it's been more like as time has gone
exciting.
on, it's much more popular. That's why
Yeah,
NFL's not played on Saturdays. It's because college football will reign supreme.
exactly. So yeah, and talking about college football, so Jim Harbaugh, coach of your favorite team, Michigan, says there's no expert.
We don't talk Michigan on this podcast. It's that team up north.
That team up north, he says no expert view says football will make COVID outbreak worse, but it's just the complete opposite of that actually, because there's a lot of experts saying
Could you
that
please quote yourself of what you wrote down, please?
what I what I
Please.
said is you don't have to be an expert to be able to you don't have to be an expert to be able to tell you fucking moron. Plus, many have actually said so. So what I want to say is I never liked Jim anyways. Like as a coach, I just didn't like him. He's been ever since this COVID thing, just been pushing to speed things up. I'm like, you can't speed things up. That's gonna make it worse. You just part of the reason why the U.S. is number one in cases. Um, but
And not
then,
slowing down.
but there's also exactly single day record was last Wednesday.
Actually, it was today.
Was
Okay.
it today now
Today.
too? Oh, even better. Thanks for proving a point for me. But there's many experts saying so when we talk about sports that are safest and not safest to play, the experts, Jim, are saying that football and basketball are the two sports that they're the worst to play
Most
and
vulnerable.
most vulnerable, like moderate to high risk of you getting COVID. You don't want to know you want a sport that's the same. You get this. It's very low risk, like
Golf.
lowest risk. No, other than golf, low risk, and it's the same as
Hockey.
going to a gas station.
Hockey?
It's tennis.
Oh my god, I
Okay.
love tennis.
I
Oh my
love
god.
tennis.
Yeah, but you have to travel for tennis.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, to go out
To
and
play,
play.
yeah.
I'm just saying, but I know they're talking about their leagues and everything. So even with the leagues, you're traveling as well and playing. So just even more of a risk that they're putting on people. So I
Yeah,
think he needs to shut his mouth, honestly, in
just
my
to add
opinion.
on, college football, Big Ten, where that team up north is from, they have said that it's going to be all conference play this fall, not spring, this fall. I think it's inevitably, I think it's going to be pushed back to the spring. Just the second wave is second wave. Like, it's still the first wave, idiots. Still the
Yeah,
first wave.
in the U.S., it's still the
Yeah.
first wave.
Okay? There's no second wave. It's still the first wave. And
Yeah,
as well, the Pac-12 has backed up that statement saying that they will be all conference as well for the
yeah.
fall. But we move on to the first sport that came back for the Disney ESPN's wide world of sports was the MLS. The MLS's back tournament has began play since last Wednesday, and already 2 teams have pulled out.
Amazing.
Great. Those 2 teams being FC Dallas and Nashville SC. Nashville SC having 9 positive cases of COVID in the bubble, no less. The
That's
bubble.
what bubble?
So,
The actual bubble.
is this a sign of things to come for the NBA? Being that they're going to be in the same bubble?
That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking that earlier today. Like, you're gonna have these players that are gonna come to the bubble. You're gonna get tested, but you got to get those tests back right away before you send them off into
Well, also,
fraternizing with
symptoms
the
can
other
appear up to 2
players.
weeks away. Like, you have a 2-week
Exactly,
window.
exactly. So they could get it right before, but you have to
So you
ensure
can
that
test negative one day and test positive the next.
exactly. So you got to make sure before they even come to the bubble that they're been quarantined. But I'm pretty sure they haven't done that.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well,
So you're gonna
MLS
go
is just
along.
so MLS is so tough because you have so many different ethnicities and nationalities that come and play. Like, it's
Mhm.
not like the NBA where most of your talent base is American or North American. Well, like soccer, you're all over the world.
Yeah,
But who
you could be
knows?
from
Like,
everywhere.
holding out, fingers crossed that they do it safely.
Hopefully. And
But
then
this bring, oh, go ahead. You got
yeah,
it, Chief.
just to end it off, we want to just mention the giveaway again. So it's the NBA
If you've
2K.
made it this far,
If you made it all the way, it's the NBA 2K21 Damian Lillard cover that we'll be giving away on PlayStation or Xbox. So once we reach 100 subscribers, we'll be drawing the name, and we'll reach out to you. Say, do you have like a PS5, PS4, Xbox, whatever?
yeah,
And
you're so privileged to get the PS5 and the One X.
yeah, I don't think I'll be getting that. But if you guys, whatever you have, just let us know. We'll buy the edition for you guys, and we'll send it to you. And that's a giveaway, but it's only when we reach 100 subscribers.
Yeah. So to be eligible for submission, you have to like any video, subscribe, and send us proof through our Instagram page. We'll put the Instagram page in the description. Unfinished underscore business underscore podcast. Screenshot us a picture, send it to us, and you'll be automatically entered in that way.
You don't have to like anything. Just
Well, if you want to.
if you can like it, obviously, but
Yeah.
that's not to enter. Just follow and subscribe to be entered, and then just send proof, and then your name is written down.
Yep. So this ends off the episode. We'll be back on Tuesday, Twisted Tuesday, which will be I believe the 10th edition, if you can believe
I
that.
think the 10th, yeah.
I'm gonna cry. Pull it together. But for the NHL postseason preview, I'm super pumped, super excited because I'm sure everybody up north in the great country of Canada is excited as well, just as much
Yep.
as we are. So until Tuesday, hold your excitement together because we'll bring the deeds. It's J Merch.
And Money Malcolm.
This episode of Unfinished Business is presented by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more.
You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
And it is everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.